Hi stamping friends, my name is Lori Heiling and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm excited to show you some cute little Halloween treats for this season. And the first one is this little Dracula, and I'm going to show you how to make this one, but I want to make sure I show you the other ones that I made because they use the same products. And so anyway, the other one is Frankenstein. This little guy, I cased Jackie Williams on the Alaskan cruise. So she's the one that inspired me. I made a few changes, but the basic of it is the same. And then I came up with this little mummy. This one's really easy to make. You just have some tearing going on. Little cat behind the box. So anyway, I will show you how to make the Dracula, and the reason I had to come up with a third one is because I have 3 grandkids in one family and I couldn't make 2 the same, so this was the last one that I did. Some of the basics to this one you can incorporate into the other ones that I just showed you, and I'll show you how to do that. So for starters, you are going to need the Takeout Treats Thinlet, and this is on page 50 of the holiday catalog. And don't think it's too late in the season to order this. Even though Halloween's almost here, you still have time. They're super fast and easy to make. And then look at, you can use some of this into Valentine's, so it's definitely worth it. My favorite one is the little candy scattered there. So this is what the actual box die looks like. And if you cut a piece of 8.5 by 11 in half, you can get 2 of these on one sheet. So I show what they look like here, and I cut 2 of them. For starters, for the Dracula box, I just put them together, and you're going to want to trim off the tops of these 2. So just cut them together and just snip right on the score line that's already there. By the way, I'm using Highland Heather cardstock, which is a new color to us this June. All right. You can set those aside. The next thing you're going to want to do is we're going to want to make the hair. See how the top of the box is black? Well, that's the reason we cut off those little tabs, because we want them black and not purple. So what I did was I cut 4 of these out, and I didn't want to drag my big shot over here, but I'll show you what I did. I just kind of set this die about like this on the big shot and cut 2 of these, and then do the same thing with the smaller side. Cut it about there. It doesn't have to be exact, because once you have the die cut out, then we're going to trim it. All right, so here we have the 4 pieces. I set these 2 together, and all you have to do is match up the score lines, and then these 2 I'm actually going to cut out all 4 at the same time. So like I said, just match up the score lines like this. Okay, and then where I trimmed was probably maybe like a 1/2 inch from this score line. So I'm just going to trim, and the reason I'm putting them all together is I want them all to be the same length, like that. Okay, whoops. Now the next thing we're going to do is one of these is going to be the front of the Dracula, and make sure it's the larger size as opposed to the smaller size. We want the larger. And behind the scenes, I cut out 2 circles, 1 1/4 inch, and then I just glued them together in the middle, and this is going to make the little widow's peak. So I just set it on the very edge here, kind of try to center it, and then let me grab a pencil here. I'm going to take a pencil and just make the line like that. And then to make it easy, we're just going to punch right where the lines are that you just made. And that's how simple it is to make the widow's peak. There you go. Now what I did was all of these that have the score line in, I just folded on the score lines, and they all have a score line, and you just have to kind of sometimes you have to move it in the light to see where it's at. They're hard to see. So fold all 4 of them. Right, now we are going to match them up with the purple. And let me find my glue. I like to put the glue on the back side of the black piece. Just match up the top of the purple with the score line and the tabs. There's one. Do the same thing with this side. This one has the widow's peak on it. Each one might turn out different than the next. I can tell already on my original one I made a little bit more hair, but it doesn't matter as long as all the edges are equal. And the last one. Like this. All right, the next thing we're going to do is add some tear and tape. The reason I like to use this is because it sticks a little bit stronger than snail. It's almost like the next best thing to hot glue. It's just a little bit stronger, and when you do 3D items, because of all the folds and the tension on it, sometimes they come apart easier if you use snail. So I recommend tear and tape. Put them on all four of the sides. Like that. Now, I think it's easier to build the Dracula's little face before I put it together, because then you're kind of pushing on it and it's easier for it to come apart. So what I do is I use the scraps that I trimmed from the top, and this is what I'm going to make the eyes out of. So I took the 1/2 inch circle punch and just punched actually only one purple circle. And then you're going to need 2 white for the eyeballs. And then I already punched the 2 1/4 inch circles for the middle of the eye. So let's glue the pupils in and use your pickup tool. It has a little rubber end. This tool is so awesome. I've been writing to Stampin' Up for about 5 years asking them to please bring this tool to us, because it's so great for picking up small things like rhinestones and pearls and things. Now with the one that you have punched out that's purple, just snip it in half. And now we're going to add a little bit more glue just to the top of the eye. And these are going to make his eyelids. So just stick those on there. And his eyes are almost done. The next part is we're going to take that scrap again, and we are going to use the tulip builder punch and just cut out or punch out one of the little tulips. And this is going to be his nose. But before we put the nose on, let's place his eyes so we know where those go. This is like one little hint when you use your mini dimensionals. I call them Barbie size. If you use your paper piercer and just poke it in the middle and drag it, it's just easier. Again, it's just an extension of your fingers, and it's easier to maneuver when you have a handle. All right, so let's place these eyes on. I always tend to lean towards placing them closer together than farther apart. I think that can make a difference whenever I do anything, snowmen, reindeer, anything. I just like the eyes closer set, like that. Then this one I didn't pop up just because I don't want everything popped up. Put some glue on for his nose, and let's put the tulip punch upside down like that. And then for his mouth, just take the journaling pen, which is a great pen. It's nice and fine, and just make a small smiley face. Doesn't have to be even. And then you want his little fangs. And what I did was, if you have a star punch or really anything, I just took a star punch that I had, and you're just going to snip off 2 little fangs from the ends. If you don't have a star punch, just cut a triangle. Just make them small. And now we're just going to make, 2 little dots down here. And that's where the fangs are going to go. Now, where did my pickup tool go? Here it is. Trying to decide which grandkid is going to get which. This one, I only have one grandson, so I'm thinking he'll probably get the Dracula. All right, there he is. Now we can start to assemble the box. I like to use the paper piercer to get the edges going of the tear and tape. So we'll get that going. And all you do for this is just fold one side back and adhere it to the, whoops, we gotta fold these two. There, and adhere it to the other side. Let's do the same with this one. Fold on all these score lines. Now we're ready to put these 2 together. One will go inside the other. So let's line that up here. Line this one over here. And the last thing you'll do is just put a tiny little one down here. And what I do for that is I prefer to use just a little glue dot. And one thing I do for my glue dots, you know how once you take it out of the box, sometimes this comes all unwound. So I just wrap a ribbon around it, and that way it won't come all undone. Again, take my paper piercer to get a little glue dot off, and just stick one on the very corner of here and stick that guy down. All right, then that's all you do. I'm not going to shut it all the way because I want to fill this, but these just latch in between each other. So there you go. There is the little Dracula. Now, the one thing I wanted to show you is when you do your Frankenstein, remember when I had these all set out and we made the widow's peak? Rather than doing that, you're just going to make a jagged edge, and I just freehand cut that all the way around. And then to make these little bolts, I just cut 2 strips of, gosh, I bet that's maybe like not even 1/4 of an inch wide, and just make them, I put little slits in here with my X-Acto knife, and then just stick them in, or glue them down, and then just fold them back so they stick out. And that's really all there is to this. And then this one I just made all very vanilla, and I cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strips and just ripped them into about 1/2 inch strips. And I put a little black rectangle underneath before I started this, and then that way you can make a little V here, and then make sure you put the eyes on the black. Very simple. This is a little charm that's in the catalog as well. And this I just ripped muslin into about maybe 3/4 inch, and then just tied it all the way around. So that's it. I hope you enjoy the video, and if you have any questions, please let me know. And my blog is called Confessions of a Stamping Addict. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.